So just like that, Avengers Doomsday is now about Chris Evans' character, who hasn't actually been officially confirmed to be in the movie yet. Although Variety did run a story a few years back that he's in this movie. So, we've all heard the rumours recently via the Geeky Cast originally, when Geeky Cast said that the Luke Cage house that was seen on set is really code name for Chris Evans' role. And then some other person came out and basically copied what said Geeky Cast said, right? And then it now goes one step further. When Steve went back in time to go live with Peggy, he created Incursions, so now Doom wants him dead. Right, that's interesting. And then the same person posted, for the multiverse to live, Steve has to die. And the dialogue in Endgame was, don't do anything stupid till I get back. So old man Steve Rodgers is in the MCU, right? Are you with me? Now, this whole prerequisite that the multiverse can't survive unless Steve Rodgers dies is interesting because, as we know, Monica Rambeau caused an incursion at the end of the Marvels, right? Gamora, right? Wanda, right? Peter Parker, right? Stephen Strange, right? And now, allegedly, Steve Rodgers caused an incursion, right? But what's interesting is it's not actually him returning the stones that has caused the incursions. It's allegedly he can't be happy. He can't stay in a timeline with Peggy. And that's what causes the incursion. But to say Doom wants to kill him it's a little bit of a reach. It's a little bit of reach. So you're probably going to see lots of videos now saying, yo, Steve Rodgers actually created Doctor Doom, the X-Men, and everything that happened post-Endgame, right? So we need to kind of break down how the multiverse actually was explained. So Geekcast won't mind me talking about what he posted about, right? So, a thread of the multiverse explained by Michael Waldron, the person who actually created this all, and how Steve Rodgers going back in time actually played out. So, the TVA, baseline, or the sacred timeline is not one particular universe. It is tons of them that have the same outcome, come to the same conclusion, which he who remains running the TVA can never being established. A ton of those timelines have different events, but all need to lead to he who remains in charge at the end. Notice how there are tons of different timelines tied together, like strings. The TVA in the picture shows different events happening that is not linear. All those lines that you see from that singular end goal, but it is not all the same before that point. The red lines or branches are the ones that are straying from the plot or creating variants, such as Ramatut, Kang, Scarlet Centaurium, Immortus, so on and so forth. When Loki beat He Who Remains and gave free will, he essentially ruined everything and branches went crazy and shit started to hit the fan, basically, right? Are you with me? So Steve Rodgers returning the stones were meant to happen, but him staying with Peggy was a no-no scenario, essentially changed things, ruined the end point, which seems to be Doctor Doom, thus also brought along the X-Men, so on and so forth. So the dialogue at the end of Endgame, where it said, don't do anything stupid till I return, him being stupid is him wanting to stay with Peggy. Also, I see it around the internet now saying Sam's shield is from a branched timeline, because if you remember, during the Infinity Saga, Thanos destroyed the shield during the big battle, and it was no one never went to get it. It was buried in rubble and stuff. So is this shield that Sam Wilson has now, is this some kind of artifact? Because it's not like the shield returns back to him like Thor's hammer does. So the shield that's in the MCU now is from a branched timeline. So yes, a lot of this does make sense, what GeekyCast is saying. I won't take creditation for it because I've literally just read from it what's posted. But what is also crazy is the Russos confirmed years back there was 2 Steves in the MCU. It's interesting because Marvel set up this years ago and they weren't going to use this, but all of a sudden they are now going to use this. Another person online who people seem to think doesn't know anything, although James Mack seemed, I don't really say scoopers' names because I don't like to give them creditation because they make stuff up, but sometimes they don't. So James Mack posted, I still don't know, but somehow Steve Rogers staying in the past, changing things by being with Carter has some importance to Doomsday. So it seems that James Mack may have some validity here. He posted this a few days back, I believe. So it's interesting. So someone comes out and says, yo, Doom wants to kill Steve Rogers because he stayed with Peggy and that essentially created Dr. Doom, so on and so forth. But the incursion that was caused by Monica, by Spider-Man, by Wanda Dreamwalking, by Gamora, so on and so forth, what does that account for? I don't think this is going to be as simple as what most people think it is. Or maybe it is, because it is Marvel, and predominantly Marvel don't normally do things that are complicated. But this whole Steve Rogers maybe being the cause of the collapse of the multiverse crumbles every single YouTube, TikTok, Instagram theory that this crumbles everything if it is essentially down to what was said by this most recent information going around. If Steve is the person that has essentially crumbled everything by staying with Peggy and he can't be happy like Peter Parker can't seem to be happy, he's got to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It's fascinating how information from a not really reliable person, in my humble ass opinion, has gone viral because we all knew Steve returned to put the stones back, right? That's not new information. But for the multiverse to live, Steve has to die. But we all know the multiverse is going to crumble anyway. So is Steve going to have to be the sacrificial lamb in this story? Is he going to have to be the I am Iron Man sequence? Is he going to have to die? I believe this won't be old man Steve Rogers. This will be the one that went back, which probably will turn into Hydra. It's an interesting concept because now what everyone's saying about Doomsday, from people who believe they think they know what they're going on about, it's actually a completely different movie to what people were initially stated. Which, again, like I keep saying, this information that goes round will still change 12 different times before we get to next Christmas when this movie comes out. So yes, Steve Rogers might be a very important character, but is he really going to be an important character? We don't know. Because as I said a few moments ago, Marvel have somehow, they did set this up with a whole, oh, don't do anything stupid line. So did this version of Steve Rogers, did he create Dr. Doom? Did he cause all the incursions by the knock-on effect of him staying with Peggy? It's fascinating. And this is what I love about making videos and talking about this kind of stuff is no one's got a freaking clue what they're talking about until the movie comes out. Or until we get more plot points, or until a trailer comes out. Maybe it's San Diego Comic-Con next year. Doubt they're going to drop a trailer this Christmas because it would make more sense to drop a trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. But this is fascinating on many levels because now we've got people going, yeah, I knew about this as well. So why didn't you say anything? It's fascinating. And there have been theories about for years saying, yo, Steve caused Dr. Doom, Steve caused Kang. Steve not returning the stones caused everything. But the theory going around is it isn't actually to do with the stones. It's to do with him staying in that time with Peggy Carter. Just let the boy be happy. It's an interesting take. And I can't take creditation for it because you're also going to get theories saying, yo, Spider-Man created Dr. Doom as well because of the incursion that he created. But then you could say Monica Rambeau caused Dr. Doom. But then you could say Wanda Maximoff for dreamwalking, you know? So you could literally say any of these characters that caused an incursion, right, created Doctor Doom, which changes everyone's complete point of view and complete perspective of what they actually thought was going on. So maybe what goes down in Spider-Man Brand New Day is actually relevant to this whole Incursion storyline that was caused by the spell. Maybe we're going to see the ramifications of the spell, and maybe Spider-Man created Doctor Doom and it wasn't Steve. Now, this is half truth and half theory. If that scoop's true, cool. But the Incursions obviously create an incursion, which, you know, is two universes exploding and only one survives, or none. So it is interesting because we know Doctor Doom sees himself as the hero and Doctor Doom wants to be the savior, but we already know that Secret Wars will be Battleworld. So this whole Steve has to die for the multiverse to live, the multiverse is still crumbling. All Loki did was slow it down. So there's a lot of not really misinformation. There's a lot of conflicting reports about what is actually going on, but it is interesting. So make sure to check out Chad Ryan on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, because a good bunch of information from this video comes from him. And you do have to understand how the multiverse works, you know? So it's fascinating. And I can't wait to see what you guys say in the comment section, because I'm not saying it's true, but Marvel has found a way to make Steve important. Again, making you actually want to watch this movie because everyone loves Chris Evans. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. I know we'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.